Jen, one of the questions that's been asked by many of the panelists on the show over the last 2, 3 hours or so, particularly is A, why is the government not sharing a draft? What is there in this draft? That's number one. And number two, what are you going to do about these special groups? Tribals in the Northeast, for example. Again, in the Northeast, there are matrilineal communities. Are you going to change this? The SGPC, as opposed to. So it's not just the All India Muslim Personal Law Board or Muslim women, but these are various special interest groups that have opposed to UCC. Are you going to offer them some kind of exception, some kind of exemption?
See, first of all, the questions which you have asked, let me answer that in a chronological order. The most important thing is that there cannot be any draft because we are at the stage of making a draft. In a legislative process, whenever a legislation like this, which affects the entire community or many citizens of the country, the legislative process is that first the Law Commission takes the suggestions from the various citizens of the country. That suggestions are forwarded to the members of the parliament, then it goes to the standing committee after being passed by the Lok Sabha, then it goes to the Rajya Sabha, and then the law is finally converted into an act. So this is the legislative process. So whoever is asking that please give us the draft, I must tell all of them that please participate in this legislative process. Point number one. Okay. Point number two, which you have said that there are various groups which need exemption. Mr. Modi, who is the member of the standing committee, has given a statement that so far as scheduled tribes are concerned, they will be left out of this provisions of UCC. And let me also tell you the third point which you had raised, that there is matrilineal society. What will we do with this? So let me tell you that UCC is not going to aim and target at the particular customs of an individual. UCC will step in where there is a malpractice amongst a particular religion or a particular community. Okay. For example, polygamy. For example, bigamy. For example, female genital mutilation. For example, child marriage. For example, halala. For example, iddat. For example, sati pratha. For example, divorce, Hindu widow divorce remarriage act. So these are the things which UCC is looking at. Okay. These are the things which is gender justice issue, which is female dignity issue, is what the UCC is aiming at.
Tanveer Ahmed Mir, the underlying principle seems to be that when it comes to civil matters, marriage, divorce, succession, adoption, etc., you cannot take refuge for discriminatory practices behind protections offered by religious laws. That seems to be the overwhelming message. For example, on property rights, 82% of our respondents have said that women and men, Muslim men and Muslim women, should have equal property rights.
Yes.
Tanveer Mir.
Yes, you're absolutely right. See,
Tanveer Ahmed Mir, please. Thank you. Yeah.
See, I'm sorry.
Insofar, Zaka, insofar as the call for uniform civil code is taken into consideration, let me tell you that it is not that the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution did not debate on the requirement of UCC at all. It is for a particular purpose that UCC was not, conferred as a basic right in the Chapter 3 as a fundamental right of anybody. And that's why the drafting committee put it in Article 44 for the very reason that because this country for thousands of years has been so diverse in terms of its practices, therefore to push a UCC directly, immediately and without a discussion may lead to many problems. Now on gender equality, nobody can have, any reservation. But at the same time, the UCC, in terms of the noise which is taking place today, and that's why you are having a program, and you have never had a program, about 8 years ago or 2 years ago, is an issue which cannot be pushed, by issuing a whip in the parliament. Okay. These are issues which are concerned with balancing the basic rights and fundamental rights in terms of Article 14 and also in terms of Article 25 and 29. Both are part of Part 3 of the Constitution and are enforceable by any person who lives within India and also by a citizen. Therefore, it is imperative that, a meaningful debate means that you call all the stakeholders, you throw the policy into public domain. you make parliamentary committees, you debate the issue, you throw it to people through the length and breadth of the country, and then, take the pros and cons, take the good things, and have a final draft, and then you can debate it in the parliament. Now, the way in which the present government is moving about it is like a state of Uttarakhand, is talking about a UCC and making a draft, knowing very well that it can only make a policy and the law for the state alone. It cannot make a policy for the entire country. So, whereas Article 44 say that the center should, take a step in terms of directive policy to have a uniform civil code for entire country. Now, within that uniform civil code, I believe the moment you ride on the horse of exceptions, then you are riding a very, very unruly horse, which will be kicking, frothing right and left. And, also, on a 360-degree, you cannot have exceptions at all for anybody.
So, Lalitha Kumar Mang.